based Miss Foundation for Women has announced that they will honour the pompous princess with a Woman of Vision award, which is the largest recognition granted by America's oldest women's foundation. It will be at a star-studded ceremony in May with a press release praising Meghan's global advocacy to empower and advocate on behalf of women and girls. But I'm sorry, this just doesn't add up to me, because a recent tax filing has exposed that the shameless Sussexes spent just 1 hour a week working for their charitable Archewell Foundation. So, Angela, how can Meghan possibly be worthy of a Global Advocacy Award based on 1 hour of charitable work a week?
Yes, I think it's all quite cunning, actually. I think that she chats up. The woman was Gloria Steinem.
Yes, who's going to be presenting the award, right?
Yes, who decided that this award was just for Meghan. And she'd got very friendly with her. And then a load of people invest lots of money. One invested 10 million into the Archewell Foundation, another 2 million. And so I think it's just very good getting other people to do the work and providing the money. And then you just sit back and say, you know, aren't I wonderful? I think it's absolutely extraordinary and doesn't make any sense. But she did that. She did the one you said about the podcast. She also did the one of the Kennedy Foundation about actually fighting against the institutional racism of the royal family. And then suddenly saying, you know, months and months later, that actually, no, there's not really any racism, but they haven't sent back the award. It's as if she's sort of gathering them and that helps her ego. But it's a very peculiar way of behaving, I think. And I don't know how you don't feel guilty about taking that on.
Because as far as I can tell, Angela, there's only been one project that Harry and Meghan have worked on consistently over the past year, and it's making this.
Yeah.
Getting their bank balance extended by the day. And the thing about the Archewell filings, I thought it was absolutely fascinating, actually, because they can't lie, you know, because it's for the IRS. Yeah. And only 1 hour a week of work. You know, in the Netflix series, they would have had you think that they were running the office together. Remember, they showed their desks side by side. Oh, yeah, we're always in here toiling away for the good of the world. No, you're not. That's a big fat lie.
Yeah, this is what they say. Our sole purpose is to do good. The other thing is that they believe in compassion, and that's their aim, that everyone in the world is compassionate to everyone else. What example are they in reality? You know, she doesn't speak to anyone in her family except her mother, and she's actually encouraged Harry to leave his own family, and he's got not a good word to say to them. So it's absolutely astonishing that they have the audacity to take this high-rise behaviour and pretend that actually they deserve all these things. It's laughable, actually. It's like giving a child at a party a present so that he doesn't feel left out. She doesn't deserve any of those things, actually.
Well, isn't it actually worse than that? Aren't we actually starting to reward bad behaviour? And actually, shame on the Miss Foundation for Women, because your awards are going to be a joke now, because we know you're only doing this for publicity. There's actually no way that you can justify giving Meghan an award for advocacy over the past year. There's no way you can justify that. So we're actually starting to now reward famous people for acting badly, for treating your family terribly, for trying to undermine your country, for trashing your grandmother's, your late grandmother's life work. That's what they win an award for?
Yes. I think the fact is that they disregard it. I don't think you win for it. I think they disregard all those sort of more negative things and just take a look at a very attractive woman and what she says and believe her. They don't question it. I think this is what a lot of... Well, I think this is...
all there.
Because it's too unpleasant to see all that. So they pretend it doesn't exist. So Meghan has a group of people who think she's absolutely beyond the pale. She's absolutely wonderful. Whereas people actually looking at what she's done and analysing it with doesn't take much, realise that she's actually quite a damaged woman and quite nasty. But I think people just disregard it all because she pretends it doesn't happen. She doesn't stop and think, well, I've done enough now. I've got to think about it and then move on and try not to do X, Y, Z, as most of us do as we look at ourselves. She doesn't. She pretends it doesn't exist. If she has been found out for a lie, it doesn't exist. It doesn't stop her. She doesn't take any notice of it. I think it's absolutely peculiar.
Well, she just cuts people out, doesn't she? That's
yes, but for herself, she does something like pretending she got married 3 days before she did, which was terrible for the Archbishop of Canterbury because he faced a criminal charge if he had married them 3 days before the proper wedding. She just ignores it. There's never apologies. She's never wrong. She's, it's an extraordinary way to think about yourself.
There as well, because
Huge.
you look at Jessica Mulroney, her best friend. The moment that Jessica annoyed the woke mob, she was cut.
Yes.
She was cut immediately. Meghan didn't stand by her. Meghan didn't show her compassion. Meghan didn't say, no, this is my best friend. Yes, she's done something silly, but I'm prepared to take the reputational hit because she's my best friend. No, she's gone. She's out. She's banished forever.
Yes, I think perhaps Harry that does what she says because he fears that he might be next. It's very frightening, I think, to live with somebody like that because they have the power and they have the single dimension of going ahead. And I think, if she wants to be a politician in America, I mean, she's got to learn that she can't have such a thin skin because she does feel she can do that, but she won't be able to at all. It's just nonsense.
And if she wants to advocate on behalf of women and girls, I think...
Oh, the way she's advocating for women and girls, I mean, she married a very rich man who's very famous. So that's what her fame is resting on, not the fact that she's a woman or a girl doing fantastically well.
And why don't you go and look after your lovely wheelchair-bound sister in Florida, if you really gave a damn about advocating for women and girls. But we don't.
Yes.
She advocates for one person, doesn't she? Herself, as always. But
yes,
look,
yes, it
Angela
is.
Levin, so brilliant to have you on the studio on this breaking news, believe it or not.